time flies. I still remember we did the Crouching Tiger and Hidden Dragons as a session where we share about the market update for 2024. Let's recap what has happened Q1 and Q2 for this market update. So beginning of the year in January, robust activities, sales activities, basically many more properties were put up in the market for sale, and including one of the large malls, which is Scott Square, that has been put up in the market. And on top of that, the DBS portfolio, which is affected by the money laundering cases, that's also put up in the market for sale. And market watchers are keen to see what's going to happen. And well, over international seas, you see that, Paris, out of Paris for the first time, International Energy Agency is opening its first office outside of Paris, and they have selected Singapore. So we all know that a lot of green initiatives, our green plan that the government is pushing on, is going to happen, that will have a ripple effect of more companies that's in the sustainability to be in Singapore. So I'm very excited for that. You see that I'm in green, right? And yes, after watching this, don't forget to go to redeem.sg, do our part to make sure that you also save energy as you consume them. So who is the winner for the capital markets? That's the hospitality assets that are successfully sold in Q1 to Q2. So to begin with, that's Hotel G that is bought by Escort Group, and also the Citadines Mount Sophia, which is bought by a joint venture between Wave Living and BlackRock, and also Capri by Fraser, which is located at Changi Business Park, and it's bought by a consortium. So one would have thought that during the bad times when COVID and all these properties would then be put up for sale. But well, this is based on willing seller and willing buyer. And if you look at it right now, it is a good time for all these sellers to actually put them in the market for sale. And definitely for the next party, when they're looking at all these assets, they are more confident with the tourist arrival that they will garner a positioning in the hospitality sector. And what's next? The retail malls that's also been put up for sale and successfully transacted. They are Seletar Mall, which is bought by All Green, and I am personally excited to see how All Green is going to transform this mall, because it is a neighborhood mall which is less often bought by them as an asset. And for Next, it is sold 50% stake by Frasers, who also bought them as part of their overall positioning for the retail asset. So for the office sector, very often Singapore is compared against Hong Kong. So based on a Bloomberg study, there were about 4,200 MNCs in 2023 compared to in Singapore compared to 1,336 MNCs found in Hong Kong. So that's also kind of, lighting up that MNCs are continually choosing Singapore as one of the important regional hubs. And that would definitely have a ripple effect to our office sector. So to begin with, from the so-called flight to quality, we are seeing that a lot of these users, basically are choosing a better quality office as compared to before because of the shrinkage of the size itself due to hybrid work. Let's talk about the lease transactions. So who moved from where to what's next? Okay, so looking at the list of properties where they moved from, for example, we look at Everest Reinsurance, Spencer, Auden Energy, and Sky Scanner. They all move from the Robinson and slightly older building to 30 Raffles Place. So this is actually signifying that the flight to quality is important. So right now, even if you are talking about a building that's located right above Raffles Place, this is something that is oftentimes, so long as they are rejuvenated, these are good buildings to relocate to. So for example, Singapore Land Tower, where we are, we see some robust activities also in Q2 as the building completes its retrofitting. Yeah, so others, like for example, those that is moving from the business centers, or now that they are confident having a foothold in Singapore, is Luckin Coffee. So they move from a co-working kind of space to Parkview Square. Yeah, so it's also signifying new setups in Singapore who is ready to move into a well-located slightly outside of Raffles Place that is a good choice for them. So we can go on and on to talk about all these moves, but I think by seeing what we are sharing with you on the moves, you can have a sense of some of these moves in Raffles Place, downtown, Shenton Way, Tanjong Pagar, as well as City Hall, Marina Center area. So the new completions in 2024, I'm really excited to see all these buildings. That is new, fresh. Well, that's IOI Central Boulevard Towers with about 1.26 million square feet. And then Labrador Tower, which is outside of CBD. And Punggol Digital District that also have oncoming space, and plus Paya Lebar Green, which is located in between the CBD as well as to the eastwards. So all these will actually kind of total up to 2.5 million square feet of space. And well, as now we are coming into middle of 2024, it is also important to see what's the new pipeline of buildings that's completing in 2025. So for you guys out there, if you are big users, you may want to take a longer timeline to look upon what's available in 2025, especially if you are seeking for brand new buildings. So these buildings are Keppel South Central, which is about 650,000 square feet, Shaw Tower redevelopment, 381,000 square feet, and Marina Square redevelopment, which is 163,000. So all this will be almost about 1.2 million square feet that's out there, welcoming new tenants to their new buildings. What's notable, one big deal that I would mention is 110 Paya Lebar. So this was already a data center, and then the seller finds that it is timely for them to reap the fruits, and therefore it is for sale. They throw in a public tender, and finally, guess who bought it? It's the tenant. So, well, I would say that this creates a little bit of excitement because it is one data center piece of property for sale. So if you have rooted your infrastructure, I would say that the tenant bought it with the right choice. So if you look upon it, data center is what our firm is also kind of capable of. And of course, very often we also seek out, greenfields, rebuild, but there are brownfields, which means that, those that is already like stipulated buildings that we are also in the lookout to buy them for our data center buyers. Then, however, if we look at industrial as a whole, warehousing are still the all-time favorites. So they have been snapped up. And in terms of the lease transactions, I would say that it has remained exciting times as well, where some of these companies that's at the city look out for fringe city locations where we have new and nice buildings such as Tai Seng Exchange, which we produced a YouTube earlier, where they have the minimal kind of outlay, and this forms part of the notable lease transactions as well. As far as for the pipeline concern, Punggol Digital District continues to be something that's exciting to look out for. For retail landlords, 2024 is definitely a happy year for you. So the implementation of the 30-day visa-free travel between China and Singapore marks a very important efforts, which basically hype up the tourist arrival. So in just the first quarter of 2024, international tourist arrival hit 4.35 million, with Chinese travelers accounting for 18.1%. This is actually a very sharp increase from the 10.3% in Q4 of 2023. So with all these efforts, you also see that a lot of Chinese retailers also coming into Singapore to set up their chain store. And in fact, we have this Little China in some parts of Singapore. And well, one of those, which is in Chinatown, in fact, we have a shop house for sale there. But this is not the topic for today. But I would say that if you today own a piece of shop house, or where the tourists are patronizing, probably it's also a good time for you to consider. So as mentioned earlier, you know that I mentioned about the two retail assets that's already been for sale. So onward, upcoming 2024, we see the pipeline as the Pasir Ris Mall, which is about 288,000 square feet, Grand Hyatt Hotel Singapore, 116,000 square feet, Punggol Digital District, which is 202,000 square feet, as well as the Cathay, 76,000 square feet. But because it is right in the tourist area, I would say that this will definitely be a lot of excitement for retailers who are looking for a footprint in the Orchard belt. So totaling 682,000 square feet in 2024. And what's next for those who are looking at bigger footprint for the retailers? 2025, lots of excitement. There's Tower 15 redevelopment, Keppel South Central, and as well as one of my favorites, which is Canning Hill Square. I think I'm excited to see how this mall will be making it a very user experience mall. Yeah, I'm really watching it. As we wrap up this video, what are the actionable insights for you? So if you out there as a landlord and you're holding a portfolio of properties that's already slightly aging, and you hear that we say about flight to quality, so these are what the tenants out there are looking at. So is it a good time for you to spruce up? Is it a good time for you to target market? Or perhaps even rebalance your portfolio? So do connect with us so that we can share what's out there in the market for you to get your thoughts and your actions across. And for the other group of guys out there where you are the corporate decision makers and you know that hybrid work is here to stay, and well, do you then renew with a slightly smaller footprint? Or do you want to relocate, because that means that you have to do some renovation if you renew and just to size down the footprint? Or perhaps to look into even buying your own asset. So what is the most suitable strategy that you can embark on? Similarly for the retailers out there. So here we are just a number away, which is 833-1338, and we still need your encouragement because we are working very hard to produce such business and investors content. So do give us a like and make sure you subscribe to our channel. And I'm Edie from PropertyBank. Bank on us for properties.